Assalamu alaikum class, how are you? I hope all of you doing well. My name is Irhan Azim and I will teach you this subject which is about environmental studies. Uh, Basically this is a general subject but a lot of interesting things and a lot of learning in this subject. Hopefully you will enjoy this semester as well. Okay, start with learning outcome like how this subject will helpful in your knowledge in your practical life. It's stimulate interest in the environment, develop and understanding of the interdisciplinary and holistic nature of the environment, develop knowledge and understanding of the environment issues and principles, and the ability of apply these to environment management, particularly in Caribbean contents, which we'll further discuss later. Okay, provide an understanding of interaction between people and the environment. Foster positive attitudes, values, and commitment to identify, solving, and preventing environmental problems. After that, start with the basic introduction. Environmental studies. Environmental studies are the scientific study of the environmental system and the status of its in- inherent or induced changes on organisms. It includes not only the study of physical and biological character of the environment, but also the social and cultural factors and the impact of man on environment. Environment literally means surrounding in which we are living. Environment includes all those things on which we are directly or indirectly dependent for our survival, whether it is a living component like animals, plants, or non-living component like soil, air, water. After that, there is another topic which is environmental science importance. Environmental studies have become significant for the following reasons. First one is environment issues being of international importance. It has been well recognized that environment issues like global warming and ozone depletion and acid rains and biodiversity are not merely national issues but are global issues as well. So, and enhance must be tackled with international efforts and cooperations. Second is problem crop in the wake of development. Development in its wake gave birth to the urbanization, industrial growth, transportation systems, agriculture, and housings, which really affect the environment. Third is explosive. Third is explosively increase in population. World census reflect that one in every seven person in this plant lives in India. Eventually, with 16% of the world population and only 2.4% of its land area, there is a heavy pressure on the natural resource, including land. Agriculture experts have recognized soil health problems like deficiency of uh, organic matter, soil, and damage of soil structure. Need for an alternative solution. It is essential, especially for development countries, to find alternative paths to an alternative goal. We need a goal as under like a goal which ultimately is the true goal of development and environment sound and sustainable development. Second, a goal common to all citizens of our earth. And third, a goal distant from the development world. The manner is It is from the over-consuming wasteful societies of the developed world. Next fifth is need to save humanity from extinction. It is upon us to it is upon us to save the humanity from extinction. It is upon us to save the humanity from extinction. Like our activity is constructing the environment and depleting the biosphere in the name of development. Number six is need for wise planning of development. Like our survival and sustains depend on resource withdrawals, processing, and use of the product have all with the logical cycle in any plan of development. Our action should be planned logically for the substance of environment and development. Last one is Misra reports. Misra reports have basically four principles: holism, ecosystem, associations, conversation, which we will discuss later. Okay, next topic is various types of environment. According to Lean, environment is of three types which influence the personality. First one is physical environment. Physical environments refers to geographical climate and weather or physical condition and individual lives. The human races are generally influenced by the climate because the human working efficiency also depend on the climate condition. Second is social and culture environment. Social environment includes an individual social, economic, and political condition where he lives. The moral, culture, and emotion forces influence the life and nature of individual behavior. Society may be classified into two categories as under an open society is very conducive for the individual development, and a closed society is not very conducive for the development. Okay, third one is psychological environment. Although physical and social environment are common to individual in a specific situation, yet every individual has his own psychological environment in which he lives. The psychological environment enables us to understand the personality of an individual, both the person and his goal from psychological environment. Like if a person is unable to overcome the barriers, he can either get frustrated or completed to change his goal for new psychological environment. But adopting this mechanism, the individual is helped in his adjust to the environment. Another related topic is element of environment, which is also related to last slide. Environment is constituted by the interacting system of physical, biological, and cultural and elements interrelated in various ways, individually as well collectively. These elements may be explained like physical elements. Physical elements are space, landforms, water bodies, climate, soil, rocks, and minerals. They determine the variable character of the human habit, its opportunity as well as limitations. Second is biological element. Biological elements such as plants, animals, microorganisms main consist the biosphere. Third is culture elements. Culture elements such as economic, social, and political elements are essentially man-made features which make culture. Another topic is about scope of environment. Like the environment consists of uh, four segments of the Earth, namely atmosphere, hydrosphere, lithosphere, biosphere. Okay, let's start with some discussion. First one is atmosphere. The atmosphere implies the protective blanket of gas surrounding the Earth. like it sustains life on the earth. It saves it from the hostile environment of outer space. The atmosphere is composed of nitrogen and oxygen, beside argon, carbon dioxide, and trace gases. Second is hydrosphere. Uh, it comprises all types of waters, resources, oceans, seas, lakes, rivers, streams, and groundwater. Nature 97% of the Earth's water supply is in the ocean. About 2% of the water resource is located in the polar cape and galleries. Only about 1% is available as a fresh surface water, rivers, lakes, stream, and groundwater fit to be used for human consumption and other uses. Next is lithosphere. It is the outer mantle of the solid earth. It, con- it consists of minerals occurring in the earth crust and the soil, like minerals, organic matter, air, and water. Last one is biospheres. Biospheres indicate the realm of living organisms and their interaction with the environment, atmosphere, hydrosphere, and lithospheres. Okay, our next topic is need for public awareness. Well, it is essential to make the public aware of the concerns of the environment degradations. Like if not reiterated and reformative measurement undertaken, would be result in the extension of life. We are facing various environmental challenges. It is essential to get the country equipped with these challenges so that their acts may be eco-friendly. Okay. Some of these challenges are under as like first one is growing population. Growing population. A population of over thousands of million is growing at 2.11% every year. Over 17 million people are added each year. It put considerable pressure on its natural resource and reduced the gain of development. Although population control does not automatically lead to the development, yet the development leads to decrease in the population growth rate. For this development of the woman is essential. Next is poverty. Well, India has often been described a rich land with poor peoples. The poverty and environmental degradations have a nexus between them. The vast majority of our peoples are directly dependent on the nature resource of the country for their basic need of foods, fuel, shelter, and food. About 40% of our people are still below the poverty line. Environment has adversely affected the poor who depend upon the resources of their immediate surroundings. Thus, the challenge of poverty and the challenge environment degradations after two facts of same challenge. The population growth is essentially a function of poverty because to the very poor every child is an earner and helper and global concern have a later relevance for him. Next is agriculture growth. The people must be acquainted with the methods to sustain and increase agriculture growth without damaging the environment. Highly yielding varieties have caused soil salinity and damage to the physical structure of soil. Next is need to groundwater. It is essential of rationalizing the use of groundwater. Factories like community wasters, industrials, and chemical fertilizers and pesticides have pulled our surface water and affected quality of the groundwater. It is essential to restore the water quality of our rivers and other water bodies as lake is an important challenge. It's so finding our suitable strategy for conservation of water, provision of safe drinking water and keeping water bodies clean, which are difficult challenge, is essential. Next is development and forest. Forest serve for the rivers with increasing demand of water, plan to the harness the mighty river through large irrigation projects were made. Last one is air and water population. Majority of our industrial plants are using outdated and population technologies and makeshift facilities devoid of any provision of treating their wastes. A great number of cities and industrial areas that have been identified as the worst in the terms of air and water pollution. Acts are enforced in the country, but their implement is not so easy. The reason is their implementation needs great resource, technical expertise, political and social will. Again, the people are to be made aware of these rules. Their sport is to implement these rules. This was a that's it. This was about a little discussion about our first chapter. Uh, we will discuss more topics in details when we will engage in our physical class. Hopefully, you are, hopefully this will be helpful for you. See you in the class for further studies and further topics. Okay, class. Thank you. Allah Hafiz. Take care.